Hello, you are listening to the OmniTalk Fast Five, brought to you in partnership with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Firework, Sezzle, and Silk. Ranked in the top 10% of podcasts globally, the OmniTalk Fast Five podcast is the podcast that we hope makes you feel a little smarter, but most importantly, a little happier each week and each year.
That's right. 2023.
Yes.
Woo!
Today is January 5th, 2023. I'm your host, Ann Mazinga.
And I'm Chris Walton.
And we are here once again to talk about all the headlines making waves in the world of omni-channel retailing. Chris, did you notice we have a new sponsor?
I did. Fireworks are going off, man. Fireworks are going off.
Firework having a killer year, and also we're proud to bring them on as our sponsor, our new sponsor for 2023.
Yes.
For the year.
Yes.
So welcome to Firework.
Super excited. How have you been?
I
haven't seen you in a week and a half.
Oh, I feel like it's been longer.
Oh,
Has it only been a week and a half?
That says something right there.
I mean,
but...
it was great. We had a good holiday break, minus the return to. We were in California and we spent a little time in St. Louis that was unexpected.
Yeah, you had trouble getting home. Tell the folks about that.
Well, we have an ongoing, I would say, ongoing snow issue.
2 feet of snow in Minneapolis, give or take.
And they closed the runways while we were in the air above the airport. So after circling for a good hour, we headed to St. Louis and spent the night there.
Got diverted? Where'd you stay in St. Louis? What hotel?
We stayed at the Crown Plaza along with every other passenger from our flight. We slept in a room with a man's underwear hanging from the desk that was not one of our men's underwear.
You got to the room and you found underwear in the room.
It was
so gross. Oh my God.
That just gives you a sense of the experience that I've had over the last 48 hours.
But
we're home safely.
You're home.
How was your Christmas vacation?
My holiday was pretty good. You know, I'm pretty stoked because I got this holiday gift.
Oh God.
Well, I don't actually have it yet, but I got permission to get it. And it's something I've been asking my wife for like 10 years to give to me.
Okay.
But I finally got it.
What is it?
I finally got permission to get a TV in my bedroom.
What?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm going to Best Buy. Shout out to all the folks at Best Buy that might be listening. I'm going to Best Buy this weekend. I'm going to buy one, get it installed, big flat screen TV, put it right in the bedroom. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. It's so much.
Why has there been so much, like, what's the issue with, I've heard a lot of like, do you put a TV in the bedroom or not? But what was the thing that pushed Mrs. OmniTalk over the edge? Well, was like, yes, fine.
Well, you know my wife, Mrs. OmniTalk, and when she gets like into something, she gets very into it. And so over the holidays, we had an Airbnb where it had a TV in the bedroom.
Oh,
and she started watching White Lotus, and she got addicted to it. And so anything that allows her to fuel her addictions, whether they be in the bedroom or anywhere else, is fair game for Mrs. OmniTalk. So I was like, let's get a TV. And she's
I'd like to pursue fuel the bedroom addictions further. Like that might be another podcast that we have, but that could be used.
I've been married a long time, man. That's about it. I'll take what I can get at this point.
TV in the bedroom is the highlight.
Yes.
That's what's keeping it.
Yes. But I'm psyched. Like it took me 10, 12 years to break her down on this, and finally, but it's better than being on our mobile phones separately. That's how I phrase the whole thing. Like you're individually watching your own screens where you can do something together, which is a nice moment for many of us, I hope. All right, and I think we need to get this show going.
Let's start talking about retail.
We're kicking 2023 off with a bang already. All right, today's Fast Five headlines are brought to you with the help and support of Manifest. Manifest, if you remember, is the Who's Who conference in supply chain, and it's January 31st to February 2nd in Las Vegas. OmniTalk fans can still save $200 on their registrations by heading to Manifest/OmniTalk. Now, that's MANIFE.ST/OmniTalk. In today's Fast Five, we've got news on Schnucks expanding its FlexForce initiative. Schnucks St. Louis, 2 St. Louis stories.
I tried to go there.
Wow.
I took a picture for Dave Steck. I was going to try to stop at Schnucks, but they were not open in the early morning,
wee hours.
Nor was my family interested in taking another departure.
Yeah, right. We've also got news on American Eagle teaming up with JLL to lease warehouse space. DoorDash introducing what it calls the ultimate life hack for returning packages. Can't wait to talk about that. Super Duper out of Israel that aims to be a micro warehouse solution, but also a grocer. But first, we begin today with news that sounds like it's straight out of a zombie apocalypse. And
yes, I think they might have been taking some liberties with this headline.
I think so too.
That's okay. So headline
clickbait, though.
That's right. Headline number one, Chris, was originally dubbed "Zombie Stores" by The Information. Amazon appears to be sitting on a number of unopened Amazon Fresh sites. I bet there's a lot of listeners in this podcast who can relate.
For sure.
Eat This, Not That, which is a newer publication we're featuring on the Amazon Retail podcast, is reporting that at least 7 built-out locations are sitting idle in California, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania, and that does not include reports of other locations, zombie locations, we'll
zombie
call them,
locations.
In Connecticut, Chicago, and Minneapolis. According to Axios here in Minneapolis, one location near us in Eagan, Minnesota is built, but there is no drywall or flooring and no signs of interior construction or any interior build out.
It makes me wonder, how's it built? like if those things are all missing.
I mean, I'm guessing it's just like the steel frame or something,
right.
but the same.
All the pictures are in.
The same holds true for the stores in Eden Prairie, Burnsville, and Coon Rapids, and also Arden Hills, Minnesota. All Amazon has to say on the matter is that we do not comment on our future roadmap, as we all know and know well from Amazon. Chris, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I think that's all Amazon can say. Number one, I mean, they can't say, yes, we're going to open. No, we're not. Like, that signals too much. So strategically, it's the only play they have. But I think the story is important for a number of reasons. I think it's telling that Amazon could indeed be having trouble with its fresh stores. And I wonder if the reason isn't because grocery is just really, really hard to do.
Sure.
As cool as Just Walk Out technology is, which, believe it or not, we've probably talked about more than any other podcast out there, I would guess. It's still not that big of a differentiator or a hook compared to traditional grocery, because there's a lot you have to give up potentially in the Amazon experience to get the full value of it.
Right.
Especially when you look at the fact that like self-checkout machines are working pretty darn well these days, especially for those smaller size grocery trips. So it makes me wonder if my takeaway here isn't that we're starting to see Amazon go the way of Tesco a la Fresh and Easy back in 2009, 2010, where they tried to enter the US market, failed because pulling off grocery is hard. But I don't think that should detract from the point that the tech is still valuable. It still works great in smaller formats, which is why we've probably seen Amazon pivot more towards the suburban concept here. That's what they've continued to open. They seem to have stalled Amazon Fresh. I can't even remember when the last one opened, but they just recently opened a Suburban Go. And it also signals, though, that Just Walk Out can be a point of differentiation for a traditional grocer that already has a well-established customer base and experience. So that's why I look to places in Europe like Tesco, Reva, Aldi. They're continuing to invest in that space because I think it is important. But how Amazon is going to impact the grocery landscape may be a question at this point in time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to kind of frame it up. And for me, the question is about like what the tech is too that they're considering and what the next best move is. So is it going to be fully autonomous? Is it going to be this hybrid version? Is it going to be dash carts and, the opportunity to just go in and check out as you normally would? But I think the important thing to call out is that these spaces, whether they end up getting built out as full, 40,000 square foot grocery stores or a hybrid of that, they're still valuable as micro warehouses, as pickup points for, as small versions of, or a satellite for an Amazon customer to visit. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see, some of them even consider shrinking the footprint to be more convenience or, small grocery trip setup, and then using the back of house for more of that package delivery, some of those other services, a place for people to, drop off packages, that kind of thing.
Which is a really good point when you think about it, because what do you think about Amazon, right? It's about price, speed, and convenience. So should they be playing in full service grocery? I think that begs the question. Or should they be playing in the convenience style thing like you just brought up? I think that's a great point.
I think what's interesting about this though, Chris, while I was in California, this is anecdotal, but right behind us at breakfast the day that we left was a group of, I would say 75 plusers. They were talking about Amazon Fresh and having this I was surprised at their demographic and talking about the Amazon Fresh grocery store and how much they love it and how much they love the technology, which means I think what you were getting at before, like there is a value to this in some parcel, but like how do you as Amazon figure out the right approach, especially when you're launching this concept for the first time?
Well, and at the end of the day, they could just be going slow to go fast. So we'll find out.
Maybe
right? I don't think we know.
Yeah, it could just be like, surprise, we're launching all 80 locations.
Which we've talked about before. And the clickbait should not be a distraction to that. That's still a possibility here as well.
No way.
All right, headline number 2, Schnucks is expanding its flexforce implementation.
Such
flexforce. I love that. Shout out to Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction.
Sounds like Space Force.
I know, right? Flexforce 5. All right. According to Supermarket News and loyal OmniTalk fans will remember, Schnucks Market began piloting what it calls flexforce employment options back in October in its St. Louis stores, and now plans to roll the test out further to 26 areas in Illinois, along with 2 stores in Indiana and 3 in Missouri. Said Stacy Brandt, vice president of store operations, much like rideshare and food delivery service employees, FlexForce teammates are able to seek and claim shifts at the time and location of their choosing, end quote. Or said another way, eligible employees can log into a Schnucks scheduling app to view and claim open shifts while also arranging to receive notifications of open shifts. The applicable positions are all part-time center store stocking clerks, and each shift has to be a minimum of 4 hours.
Mhm.
And I chose this headline this week specifically because you recognize Schnucks CEO as
Todd R. Schnuck,
yes, as the CEO of 2022. And this was a big reason why. So I got to think you're loving this, right?
Yes. And I did recognize Todd R. Schnuck, but I think it's a testament to the larger Schnuck team and product teams there. Because what I love about this, Chris, is that I think that they rightfully identified the problem first and then figured out what technology they were going to use to help solve the problem. This wasn't just like, let's throw some tech at the wall. Let's throw this application at the wall. This third party came at us with this solution. Let's give it a shot. They said, we have a major issue here with staffing, and we have a major issue with out of stocks on our shelves. Like, we just need to solve this issue. How do we do that? They put their own teams on the problem and are creating this right technology to solve it. Clearly it's working. They're rolling it out to more locations soon. I think the only hope for me is that this continues to go well for Schnucks, and then we start to see it roll out to other categories. So cashiers, deli counters, back of house stocking. It's only center aisle stocking right now, which I think is a huge advantage, a great place to start the test. But I don't know.
Once you're certified in other areas, can it roll out?
Exactly.
Sure.
Like, especially, and you would know better than anybody. Like, what are the positions that call out most often? I mean, do you have more of that happen in like cashiers than you do in deli counters or something? So like, how do you start to attack that problem where it's really making the most impact?
Call it a ubiquitous problem. So but the bigger problem though, I think the point you're making here is you want to see this roll out more so. So like, that's why I like it too, because I hope, my hope is sincere with you that this is actually the first headline of something that's going to become much, much more prevalent in 2023. Like, we see this as a major effort across retail because it just makes sense, right? You talk about it. Like, from my store management experience, like, the point that I would make is everyone is always asking for more shifts. And so if you can direct your employees to say, hey, go on the app. If you can get more shifts, you can. If you want them, it's up to you. They're there. They're available. Go for it.
On your own timeline.
100%. Because it's a smart move. It checks all the boxes in terms of ameliorating what is hurting retailers right now, which is staffing shortage and wage rate increases. This creates kind of a marketplace effect for getting those shifts, which helps keep the wage rate down ultimately too. So I love it. I think it's smart, and I hope to hell we see more of it.
Yes. Well done, Schnucks. All right, let's go to headline number 3, Chris. American Eagle's Quiet Platforms Delivery Network has teamed up with JLL to lease warehouse space.
Yes.
So according to Chain Store Age, under the agreement, the two companies will seek to pioneer a flexible rent as a percentage of revenue model for logistics real estate. OmniTalk fans will remember American Eagle's Quiet Platforms Delivery Network is the brainchild of Chief Supply Chain Officer and friend of OmniTalk, Shekhar Natarajan. Its aim is to help build a frenemy network, which is often used in headlines, as retailers, or a frenemy network among retailers, as it employs a portfolio of carriers using a universal delivery label that eliminates the need for multiple shipping integrations, complex invoicing, and lengthy contractual agreements. Chris.
Yes.
I know you love Shekhar, and I know you love this platform.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Boom goes the dynamite, Ann, on this one.
Oh man, we're still using that in 2023.
Oh yeah, that's never going away. That's my buddy Todd Bruxford who taught me that when he was training me to be a store manager at Target, actually. But boom goes the dynamite. I think it's a match made in heaven, 100%. I mean, who does American Eagle want to be part of its frenemy network? Like, they want mall-based retailers. That's the value that it brings to the table. Like, it's saying, let's create a communal relationship to get all this stuff done as part of a broader network. Let's make it happen. So what's the best place to put that commune? a freaking mall. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest. So
Yep.
it's brilliant. Kudos to American Eagle and JLL for having the vision to be leaders in this space. We've long talked about it. I mean,
Yep.
we've been talking about this for 4 years. It's great to see it finally happen.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'd point out, they're structuring the agreement in a way that enables it to potentially work. Like, it's a
Yes.
percentage of revenue. You're not beholden to a certain amount of rent each and every month. It can be based on how well you equally yoke yourselves to make this successful.
Totally.
Smart move all around.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's particularly, I think it's great for American Eagle, and Shaker's doing brilliant things there. But
You're going to go the contrarian
no,
point,
I'm not going the
okay.
contrarian point. I just think it's important to call out JLL in this scenario
okay.
because this, like you said, this has been, things like this have been in the works. Our friend Shlomo Chab has been working with real estate investors and trust to try to figure out how to get somebody to kind of go overboard and really push the edge on this, because it requires like going against the grain of what their everything about their business is built on. And so I think that it's important to look at JLL and their position here. I also think this doesn't have to just be malls, especially when you look at a large company like JLL. They have so much office space right now, too, that's not being utilized anymore. And so I think that as this continues to evolve, mall retailers, obviously a great place to start. But then if you start to look at, how, as JLL is going to be converting their real estate portfolio into mixed use, into housing, like they have all these other angles that JLL now has once they've kind of learned how to model this and how they've learned how to correctly model the contract with the retailers who are investing in this frenemy network. So I love this move, but I particularly think that it's good to see real estate companies starting to think differently about the space.
That's a great point. Yeah, and we shouldn't necessarily extrapolate malls from the headline because it doesn't say that. And so, yeah, as a journalist, it's great to call that out because you have to actually look at both angles here. That's a great point. All right, headline number 4. DoorDash has launched a new service called package pickup. Wow, pretty straightforward, huh, man? According to a company blog post, with package pickup, consumers can request a dasher, not a prancer, but a dasher, to pick up their prepaid packages from their home and drop them off at their local carrier.
I'm glad you cracked yourself up with that one.
I'm trying to think of another reindeer, but I can't off the top of my head.
Blitzen?
Yeah, Blitzen, yes. Donner. All right.
Oh, I called it Donder. My kids gave me the riot act. It's like Donder. It's not Donder. It's Donner. Donner.
They should have given
Donner?
me the riot act. Donner and Blitzen.
Donner.
All right. But we digress. So the consumers can request a dasher to pick up their prepaid packages from their home and drop them off at their local carrier, including UPS, FedEx, and USPS. Here's how it works. This is cool, actually.
Yeah.
You select the packages hub on the top of the DoorDash homepage and select the carrier, again, UPS, FedEx, USPS, whoever you want, that corresponds to the packages you're sending back. You then get your packages ready, up to 5 total you can send back per dasher pickup. Attach a prepaid shipping label, or if you have a shipping QR code, this is super cool.
Yeah.
You can send the QR code directly to your dasher in the DoorDash app, meaning no printer or box for the item is even required. And cancel Christmas, request a package pickup, and a dasher will then be assigned to pick up your packages ASAP. And finally, your dasher will send you a confirmation photo as well after dropping off your packages at the designated delivery location or pickup or return location, I guess, in this case. So, Anne, what's your thoughts? Oh, and by the way, you can do this all for a flat fee of $5 or $3 if you're a Dash Pass member as well. And again, up to 5 packages can be picked up. What do you think here?
I love this.
I knew you were
I love this.
Yes.
I mean, I interviewed Amazon. I interviewed DoorDash's Shauna Prive, and she talked about early pilots of this last year, and I loved it. I was like so excited about it when she was talking about how they were starting to explore this. I loved it then. I love it now. I think, if you think about just how much is your time worth? Like, that's the question that people need to ask themselves. And $5 is your time to return. And even Amazon alone, like, let's look at one Amazon order. One could have you going to Whole Foods. One could have you going to the UPS store. Like, 2 errands.
Kohl's.
Kohl's.
Dare I say it?
Dare you say it? But like, is two places that you have to go, checking 2 items off your list, worth $5? Yes.
Probably worth the cost in gas, right?
For sure.
Right? Especially for $3.
It's amazing. So I think that this is great for the consumer. It's definitely a reason to get a Dash Pass to save. $3 is even better. And then I think the number one thing from DoorDash's perspective is now you're maximizing the utilization of the DoorDash drivers.
100%.
Like they are in that neighborhood. You can be so much more efficient and assigning your Dashers per, they're on their day-to-day route. I think it's brilliant.
100%. I mean, I think your last point reminds me of what I think has become the number one adage on our show after doing this show now for 6 seasons. We are entering our 6th season.
Yes.
And by that, I mean 6 years, not these bullshit seasons that people do 10 episodes and they've done a season. I'm talking 6 full years of doing this show, Ann. And that is that what is old is new again.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you're talking about here. Because essentially DoorDash is just getting into backhaul reverse logistics. The drivers are already out in neighborhoods, right? You assign them where they're needed based on the activity that you have for package pickup.
Mm-hmm.
You do it for a fee that works.
Yep.
Like you're only taking business if it works. So you're no worse off if you're DoorDash. Contrast this with, and I'm going to say this, the Yahoos at Instacart that are trying to launch heavy item delivery, which brings no scale at all to their current operation, or trying to, even worse, get into actual grocery store operations, which they have no credibility to do. And you see who is winning and who is losing here in the long run, and who you should place your money behind, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's an excellent point. And it's super easy to use. I tried to do it last night.
Did you?
And and it was just like, it's like, do you want food? Do you want something from the Dash Mart, or do you want a package pickup? Like, let's go 1, 2, 3. And the like uploading the QR code. Oh man,
that was awesome. Like you didn't need
it's just so simple. Yeah. It's like, I'm already doing that to I'm sending the QR code to my husband, who's my current Dasher right now. But like, it's so simple, really well done, great customer interface. And hopefully it's the same way for the Dashers too.
That's awesome.
All right, let's move on to headline number 5, Chris. Israeli startup. If you don't have fun with this startup, I don't want to know you. Israeli startup Super Duper is a vertically integrated online grocer who wants to sell 3,000 SKUs of ambient, chilled, and frozen grocery products. I've been drinking too many frosés, apparently.
Yeah, right.
Frozen grocery products at a 16 to 23% discount, very specific, to major chains with no delivery fees. So, according to Hungry, with no vowels,
HNGRY.
Yes, another new publication.
Got a lot of news here. It was the end of the year, so it was a little harder to find the headlines this week.
Yes. So according to Hungry, rather than use automated storage and retrieval systems, Super Duper instead relies on automated ground vehicles, AGVs, that function similarly to Amazon's Kiva robots for ambient temperature items. The bots then marshal various shelving units to build a queue for a staff member to manually pick and scan. The average order of 25 items can be packed in about 5.5 minutes. And this translates to an industry benchmark of 180 units per hour, just ahead, the article says, of Ocado at 170 items per hour. Big note there. Since late summer, the service has acquired 1,500, or roughly 19% of the 8,000 households in the small Israeli suburb of Binyamina, and next plans to deploy its automated warehouses and delivery model in Massachusetts or New Jersey. Chris, lots to unpack here about Super Duper, but what are your thoughts?
I think it's interesting. I think it's an innovation for sure to keep an eye on.
Okay.
For e-commerce delivery to work, we've talked about this a lot. You have to have a system that works on proximity and automation to get the cost down. So the size of the warehouse operations in this model is roughly 7,000 square feet. And then it's the simplicity of automation that gives you the latter part of what I just said, right? So there's a great video of how it works online. I think people should go and check it out. It's at vimeo.com/HNGRY. It's the first one that pops up. Essentially, all the robots come to the picker, which is a really interesting way to think about it. They move around the picker and to the picker station. Super smart and intuitive when you watch it. And so for me, it's got my interest peak for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that it's important. When we were preparing for this story, I immediately went to like the third story today, this frenemy network. Like when you think about all this open retail that's available, this open retail space, office space, etc., something like this makes sense to me instead of like maybe going for the $3 to $5 million like stacks or like that approach. It makes much more sense to me to like test this out in a smaller, what do they say? It was like just under $1 million to get one of these places up and running. To test this out. So I think it'll be interesting to see how U.S. retailers especially start to adapt to these types of things. And I also still have some questions, though, about how this works at a larger scale. Like, I think this makes sense for the smaller format groceries. I question, though, I will be not question. I'll be keeping an eye on whether or not we see like mass grocery retailers start to take this type of approach, or if Super Duper can get to a scale that can service, more than 8,000 customers in a general geography. But
and that may be the point too, but
but I mean, all in all, it's a fifth of the cost of what these larger scale larger scale options are for automated fulfillment centers. So I will be keeping an eye on this. But Chris, as you'll know, we still have gotten to it's a new year, but we haven't gotten to A&M's put you on the spot question this week. So I'm going to bring that for you right now. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. A&M wants to know, Chris, they said that there are two factors at play in this story, both alluded to by CRG's Dave Ritter.
Dave Ritter, yes.
Who was on the end of the year show, the prognosticator of prognosticators. In our year-end award show for 2023 predictions, he said that we are on the path to profitable e-commerce grocery and that a retail tech provider would open a standalone store to compete with traditional grocery. Super Duper is claiming to do both here.
Right.
Dave Ritter might have just like, maybe he is the Nostradamus that we all need to be following closely this year. But Super Duper is claiming to do both. Are you buying into it? And is this the beginning of a big 2023 storyline trend?
Ooh, wow. Great question again. Yeah, I mean, it's a great question because, in terms of what we do, and I think this is important why we do our show too, it's easy to identify the cool things. It's much harder to talk about them and say whether or not you think they have staying power. Right. It's easy to be like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. Right. Like, yeah. And so that's a great question because that's the heart of what we're talking about here. And the important point here is that, even in what you said too, they're trying to be a grocer too.
Right.
And so for me, it's, and I agree with you, it's not a displacement of full line grocery, but it does appear to me like it could be a profitable alternative to specific convenience type grocery, or at least to share some form of grocery share in the long run. Because a couple of points that I would close out with that I think hit that point home. We've been talking about automated micro fulfillment now since I think 2018, and we have not seen it proliferate in the market in any way, shape, or form, which is honestly quite surprising when you get down to it.
Especially with the pandemic.
Yeah, no, right. You thought it would people be gangbusters about it, but you're not hearing that much about it, which is surprising. So, which it tells me a couple things. It tells me grocers are either loath to do it because of the expense, like you talked about, it's significantly more expensive. B, they have difficulty in rewiring their existing physical architectures to do it, or they have to create a dark store where they have double the amount of inventory, which doesn't get to be the return on assets that you want. Or C, there's just still general apathy in the grocery market for dealing with e-commerce because they don't like the profit drain.
Right.
So when I add all that up, I'm like, okay, you got somebody here that has a smart way to do the automation. They can do it in a small space. Why not? That's how disruption happens. Like, if you don't want to do it, well, forget it. We'll do it ourselves.
Right.
So I think it's on that rationale alone, something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting too, especially when we think about like last year, all the instant delivery providers and how they were doing this. Like they could only be very small. They could like turn around. It was basically one of these robots that you see. Watch the video because the video is really cool about these Super Duper robots. But like, they have figured out a way to kind of be the best of instant delivery and add in a relatively low cost of automation. And we didn't see that with any of the instant delivery providers.
100%. That's what I was going to say too. Like, you talk about the Go Pups, that everybody, like, the question we always had is like, okay, you're opening up all these warehouses, but they're all manual. How are you going to get that to work? Like, it just seems really, really difficult. And so like, there could be an opportunity here. Is it going to happen overnight? No. Yeah. But it's something to watch.
Yeah. All right, Chris, we're going to the lightning round now. It's time. Right. Chris, while plenty of Japanese retailers are selling their Fukubukuro bags, apologize on the pronunciation there, Starbucks Japan's New Year's Lucky Bag is one of the hottest of the Fukubukurus in Japan.
Say that 10 times
Would
fast.
you like to know what a Fukubukuro is, Chris?
Oh.
It's a tradition where retailers mark the new year with grab bags filled with random items for a generous discount.
Okay.
Where
are you going?
I want to go to Japan just for this. This is my jam. Fukubukuro is how you forgot one of the syllables.
Yes, right, I did.
Chris, what products would fit in your perfect New Year Fukubukuro?
Oh my God. How many times can you say it? For me, I'll go with what I was voraciously buying over the holidays, which was as much Adidas and Nike products as I could find on discount.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, I look like my wardrobe now looks like the worst of the worst bachelor party at Vegas, like that are wearing Adidas tracksuits. Shout out to Neil Thomas, former OmniTalk guest host. Yeah, man, I'm all in on that stuff because the discounts on the Adidas stuff particularly were insane. But now I've got Adidas stripes on all my outfits. I look like a total poser.
You need to, we got to do something about that.
All right, and Netflix is now streaming Nike fitness classes. What do you think will be your go-to class? 2 weeks to a stronger core, or HIIT and strength training with Tara anytime soon?
Both. I need to up all of the fitness that's happening this year.
Be fit. What are you talking about?
Oh, these last 2 weeks were not good. But I dorkily have had the Nike Fit Club app since probably 2014. So I do actually do some of these workouts on occasion. So I don't need it on Netflix, but I think
I don't get that. Yeah.
I do think it's huge. Like,
really?
now you're going to be having people. This could have been one of the stories, I think, sure for this one.
Why?
But because I think that now you are developing repeat patterns for people to go. Like, how many times you use your fitness app? Like, what, 3-4 times a week in best case scenario, at least for the month of January. But I think this will be cool. Like, it gets people to stay on the Netflix platform when they wouldn't pay for the Nike Run Club or something like that.
We should have talked about it because I think it's a different psychological state you're in when you're on Netflix versus wanting to work out. But we digress.
Now with your TV in your room, you could be doing you could do HIIT and strength with Tara anytime and then watch your shows.
Yeah, no, not happening.
All right, good. Walmart expanded drone service to Arizona, Texas, and Florida, and they thought California was going to be bad with people shooting things out of the sky.
I know, right? Now they're going to Texas and Arizona. Yeah.
And Florida.
Good call.
All right. Gators. You got gators that are going to be eating Amazon packages and Walmart packages. Okay. What do you most wish you could have had delivered via drone while spending time in your Arizona hometown this last week?
Oh, great question. But real quick, the other important thing to note is they're only going to warm weather states, which means this stuff probably doesn't work in cold weather too. Great thing that I just thought of there, I think.
Yeah.
For me, it would have been COVID test, man. Our holidays were decimated by COVID. 2 of my family members had COVID. We couldn't stay in our house. Had to get the Airbnb. Kind of a bummer, but we made the best of it for sure. All right, this one's great. Kroger released a smart cooking apron over the holidays. What creeps you out more, Ann? The aromatherapy feature that periodically releases a gingerbread scent to evoke nostalgia? Or the massage-o-matic feature, the special straps with mini vibrators that give the apron wearer a gentle shoulder massage on command?
Oh my God, I take mini vibrators all day. The only answer to that question and most questions is give me the mini vibrators every day.
Yeah, I thought this would be great for some cooking naked show or something like that.
Oh God.
My mind was going crazy with this one.
Yeah, that goes crazy. Yeah, lots of shoulder massages.
Like crazy stuff you can do. All right, that wraps us up. Thank God. Let's end this gong show. Happy birthday today to January Jones, Robert Duvall, and the man who may have just moved up on my man crush board to overtake Tom Brady, Mr. Bradley Cooper. Yeah, hard to argue that one, right?
Yeah, way better than Tom Brady.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm at that point now. All right, and remember, if you can only read or listen to one blog in the business, make it OmniTalk. Our Fast 5 podcast is the quickest, fastest rundown of all the week's top news, and our twice-weekly newsletter tells you the top 5 things you need to know each day, and also features special content that's exclusive to us, and it's all just for you. And we try really hard to make it all fit within the preview pane of your inbox. You can sign up today at www.omnitalk.blog. Thanks as always for listening in. Please remember to like and leave us a review wherever you happen to listen to your podcast or on YouTube. And so with that, and on behalf of all of us at OmniTalk Retail, as always, be careful out there.
The OmniTalk Retail Fast 5 is brought to you in association with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. The A&M Consumer and Retail Group is a management consulting firm that tackles the most complex challenges and advances its clients, people, and communities toward their maximum potential. CRG brings the experience, tools, and operator-like pragmatism to help retailers and consumer products companies be on the right side of disruption. And Firework. Firework is the largest video commerce solution built for the world's leading brands. They empower brands with shoppable and live stream video on their own websites where people like to shop. Put your commerce in motion with Firework. You can find out more at firework.com. And Sezzle. Sezzle is an innovative buy now, pay later solution that allows shoppers to split purchases into 4 interest-free payments over 6 weeks. To learn more, visit Sezzle.com. And Silk. The Silk Cloud DB virtualization platform is a virtualization layer between your workloads and the cloud. It helps you scale your cloud without scaling your costs. Visit silk.us to learn more.